Welcome back to Panda Recaps. Today I will show you a film from 2018 titled The Outsider. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. Nick is cleaning up a prison locker room when a couple of scary-looking Japanese guys come out of the shower. He hears someone grunting, and in the shower room he sees one of the Japanese hanging there. Nick saves him. Later he pays the price for his heroic deed. He is punished by the prison guards along with the man he saved. Kiyoshi becomes his cellmate. He tells Nick that if anyone in prison tries to commit suicide, they will be taken to the hospital. He will do that, and once he is there, his brothers will come to get him, and wants Nick to help him. As compensation, his brothers will also help Nick if he goes down the same road. Kiyoshi takes off his shirt and knife in hand, says he needs Nick to save him from death and make sure the guards come. Shortly after, he rips open his stomach. Nick immediately calls for the guards and tries to stop the bleeding. The guards rush into the cell and take Kiyoshi to hospital. When Nick's sentence time is over, he is picked up by Kiyoshi's friends and finally can have a taste of freedom. Nick is invited to dinner. The hosts begin by thanking him on behalf of the entire Shiramatsu family for what he has done for their member, who suggested giving Nick a job. This is not an ordinary family but the Japanese Yakuza. Nick learns that there is a problem with an American colleague that needs to be solved, and he could help them. The next morning Kiyoshi and his goon picks him up. They take Nick to a metal factory where he goes in alone. Nick tries to persuade the American to cooperate and respect Japanese traditions, meaning he has to pay a fee to operate in Osaka, but he does not give a damn and is very rude. He says that Americans won the war, so they don't have to worry about paying Japs. Nick tries to be respectful but is rebuffed and smashes his head. Blood-stained, Nick tells Kiyoshi that the American will cooperate now. Nick is back at the family gathering. They are having fun and cracking jokes when suddenly members of their rival family, Shizu, show up. They argue about some business matters regarding the factory they visited earlier, and how the Shiramatsu family has lost control of the town. A member of the Shizu family makes fun of Nick, saying he is a cute little pet. As they are about to leave, out of nowhere Nick smashes the perpetrator's head. Immediately everyone has a gun out, but things cool down just as quickly. They leave and threaten to come back. After Nick has more or less settled in his new position as a Yakuza dog, he and Kiyoshi visit a gambling den. As soon as they are noticed, the place goes quiet. Kiyoshi wants to know who is in charge. It is a flabby man named Kimura who gets asked who owns the city of Osaka. Kiyoshi slaps him several times until he answers that it is the Shiramatsu family, which is what Kiyoshi wants to hear. Knowing that Kimura is in trouble, he offers to pay Shiramatsu's family double their usual share. Kiyoshi asks for Nick's opinion, but Kimura makes a mistake and asks if he can negotiate without asking his white dog for permission. Nick disagrees with this question and punches him in the neck. Kiyoshi thinks this is not enough and stabs him several times. This is what happens when you defy the Shiramatsu family. They take the money and leave. Later, they are at the party. Kiyoshi's Yakuza brother Orochi asks why Nick is still there and thinks he served his purpose. He does not think Nick appreciates the family and wants his brother to send him away. Nick realizes that Orochi is not a big fan of his. Kiyoshi gets notified that his sister is making a ruckus, so he goes to the dance floor and drags her out. It turns out that the girl is Kiyoshi's sister, Miyu. She is drunk and Kiyoshi is afraid that members of the Shizu family might come and hurt her. He asks Nick to take her home. When they get there, she thanks Nick for the ride. He tells her that she is beautiful and that he wants to come inside. She thinks he isn't bad himself. Meanwhile, Orochi's man is spying on them. After they do some pair yoga exercises, it's time for Nick to leave. The next day, Kiyoshi has a job offer for Nick. He says that the US Army is sending weapons back to the homeland, but they want to sell some of them before they leave port. No one can know that the Shiramatsu family is involved, so Nick has to take matters into his own hands. If something goes wrong, it will affect Nick and no one else. He arrives at the dock in a truck and goes into the warehouse, where he finds a body on the floor and is suddenly surrounded by the Shizu men. The man he hit with the bottle slaps him and says they control the dock. They knew about Nick's plan to sneak in and buy all the guns before they did. Nick is asked where the money is since they cannot find it in his truck, but he refuses to talk, so Shizu captain tells his men to kill him. They force him to his knees, but Nick disarms one of them and kills a couple. He wants to know where the guns are, but it turns out that they are already gone. A meeting of the Shiramatsu family is held. Now the head of the family, Akihiro, is also present. He wants an explanation. Kiyoshi takes the blame and says it was his idea, but Nick interrupts that he was the one who killed the Shizu boys. They however didn't find the money, but they knew where to search for it. Akihiro wants to know who informed the Shizu, saying that they have a rat. The Yakuza have a tradition called yubatsum. To show remorse to the boss for an offense that they have previously committed, they cut off part of their fingers. Nick offers 2 of his fingers for his wrongdoings. In the meantime, Orochi whispers to Kiyoshi that Nick had a good time with his sister Miyu. Kiyoshi also has to say goodbye to his finger. Afterwards, fingers are presented to the head of the Shizu family as an apology. Nick is out with Akihiro and they discuss who the possible traitor is. He has no idea. Akihiro takes him to a sacred place where all the Yakuza family members have gathered. Nick undergoes an initiation ceremony that makes him a part of Shiramatsu family. Later, they have a party. Kiyoshi talks to Nick about his sister, telling him that they cannot be together. Yakuza family members are in danger of being used as a bargaining chip and he doesn't want to put his sister in even more danger. Nick tries to persuade him and promises to protect her, but Kiyoshi is adamant. They are real brothers now. Nick does not listen to what Kiyoshi told him and is still secretly seeing his sister, all the while getting deeper into Yakuza traditions. A member of the Shizu family has come to Akihiro with a business proposition. They want the Shiramatsu family to invest in a project that will bring in a lot of money, but would make them dependent on Shizu. He thinks this is an act of disrespect and tells the head of the family to come himself, saying that he will not submit to the Shizu's order. Later, Nick, Kiyoshi and Orochi discuss the Shizu's proposal. Orochi thinks that Akihiro is stuck in the old ways. He tells Nick a story about how Kiyoshi saved him as a child and how he became a Yakuza. He is jealous that Kiyoshi is paying more attention to Nick. Orochi is drunk and he goes to Miyu. She was his first love. He forces her to cuddle, but she refuses and it gets physical. Orochi wants to know why she likes Nick. Overcome by jealousy, he tries to force himself on her, but when he sees his reflection, he stops. Akihiro meets with Shizu's leader at a sumo event, who offers him a secure retirement. He guarantees that the last years of his life will be peaceful and healthy, but he must resign and the members of the Shiramatsu family can either join the Shizus, or do what they want on the condition that they do not start a new family in the city of Osaka. Father counters that he is a wolf, not a dog that can be put in a cage, and leaves. On the way back, Nick is spotted by an American soldier. Nick was with him in a unit, but he had deserted it. The soldier threatens to rat him out. To ease the tension, Nick invites him to his home. The next day, Nick pays Miyu a visit. He sees bruises on her face from a scuffle with Orochi. He asks who did this to her. She does not answer, but Nick already has an idea. Miyu stops him and tells him that she is carrying a baby. She asks Nick to leave it as it is, she just wants him to be with her. Nick goes to Kiyoshi's house. He confesses his betrayal, telling him that Miyu is pregnant and says he will do anything Kiyoshi wants, even leave. Kiyoshi invites him in and they have a drink. He gets 2 katanas from the cabinet and tells Nick a story about how his father left him these swords as a symbol that he must protect his sister. He hands them to Nick and says it is now his duty to take care of Miyu. Nick asks Kiyoshi to help him with another thing, to bury the American soldier. Meanwhile, in Shizu's office, their boss is talking to Orochi, who informs him that the Shiramatsu family is no longer a threat. Nick and Kiyoshi take Akihiro to get a new suit. While they wait, Nick suddenly hears suspicious noises and goes to check. It turns out that he is being choked. They kill the perpetrator and take him back to the car. They duck into the back seat while Kiyoshi tries to start the engine, but out of nowhere 2 of the Shizu guys come and shoot Kiyoshi dead. The Shiramatsu family has gathered. They discuss whether war should be declared against the Shizus and that Orochi has betrayed them with some other of their members. The decision to declare war is made and savage killings ensue. Shiramatsu's family wants revenge, and Nick also gets involved. A young boy comes to Shiramatsu's office. He has a message from the leader of the Shizu family, who wants to meet them tomorrow at the port factory, which is neutral territory, without weapons. He wants to end the war. The next day, Shiramatsu's family arrives at the port. As agreed, they are unarmed. The Shizus are also there. Their leader tells Akihiro that he is an old, stubborn man. It turns out that the Shizu do not want anything. It is Orochi, the traitor, who wanted this meeting. The two come closer to each other. Akihiro encourages Orochi that it's not too late to return to the family. Orochi says that this is what he wanted and kills him. Shiramatsu's family gets surrounded and they have no other option to back off, since they are unarmed. Orochi approaches them and tells them that the Shiramatsu family no longer exists. He tells Nick that he will give him money if he leaves, but if he decides to stay, he cannot guarantee his or Miyu's safety. He receives no reply and leaves, calling them all idiots. One of the Shiramatsu boys tries to chase him but is killed by a sniper. Nick is also shot in his leg. The Shiramatsu family-owned estates are burned to the ground. Nick returns to Miyu, telling her that Akihiro is dead and wants her to pack so they can leave together, but first he has to do something. He arrives at the Shizu family home and confronts them all alone and is immediately disarmed. He tells them that he wants Orochi's life. He offers him a duel with the swords. Orochi accuses him of taking his brother away from him and poisoning Akihiro's mind. He gives him back his katana but says that he will not fight him. Just as he finishes the sentence, Nick cuts his throat. The leader of the Shizu spares Nick's life and asks him to leave. Nick returns to Mia, who was guarded by the remaining members of the family while he was on his mission. They all bow to him, as he is the new head of the family. The end. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this.